Good day everyone, Jesse Shoutout and welcome back to another video. Today we are reacting to a video that was posted by David Hero today, so shout out to David. And I want to say thank you David for being the one to sort of spread awareness to this situation. As a paper show creator myself, there are definitely a lot of problems with the paper show community, and David's going to go over to that today. But I decided to make a reaction video, number one, because I told him I would, but number two, so I can add my perspective, because he's speaking from a bunch of different people's perspectives and how they feel. So I'm going to pause and talk about my perspective and everything like that. So again, thank you to David. Please, no hate on David. He's doing the right thing in doing this, and I'm now going to make a response to this video, just adding the things that he might not have said, or if you forgot to say something in particular. And of course, like this video says, we're not talking about one specific person. There's, it takes a lot of people, or not a lot of people, it takes multiple people in order for a problem to start or to break out. And the paper show community has definitely changed since to how it used to be. And I'm not sure if that's a positive change, but again, we're going to just go over this video. Thanks a lot to David. I do have a snack with me because I haven't really eaten a lot today. And of course, stay hydrated. Alright. Without further ado, screen's going to be right here. 3, 2, 1, and let's go.
Now, before I get right into the discussion, I just want to say thank you to most of the paper show communities out there for taking the time to watch this video. And I also want to address that the things I claim in this discussion is not based on no one person only. I am not going against anyone in particular. I am practically just going to speak for both sides on this one, but that doesn't mean that you're off the hook just yet. There are most things that needs to be addressed here today, because lately it has been 4 years knowing these paper show communities, and I still see numerous stunts that get out of hand. But this doesn't mean that...
Also, I will pause. I'm sorry if there's just a lot of me watching, and I'm trying to listen, because I haven't watched this yet. So this is the first time I'm listening to it, so I'm listening in, and then I'm going to pause it when... So forgive me if you don't want to watch me eating.
We're all bad people. Most of the time we are just misunderstood. And this is why I'm practically just making this video. And of course, I also won't be name-dropping any of you. All of it is anonymous. Though real quickly, if any one of you wish to speak to me about anything, then you are free to comment on this video.
Yeah, I will say, if you want to comment on my video, asking, or just DM me on Discord, you can go to me or David. Either one, you can go to either of us and just ask us stuff. Just be respectful about it, please. Be respectful, we don't want any more drama. Alright.
Or if you wish to come talk to me privately, then my Discord user should be on the screen for you right now, for you to DM me. And if you would like to see me cover up something in a future video, then go ahead. Let me know, and if I end up doing it, then I'll give you a shout out. Without out of the way, let's get right into the video.
Alright, here we go.
As I stated it earlier, it really has been 4 years now, and I still have the sense that we all still act childish from time to time. Even some of us still...
For me, it's been almost 8 years. So it's been about when the whole wider paper show community, I think that started like 4 years ago. So that's what he's referring to.
Have issues with one another, and honestly, I feel like it's that time to grow up already, because some of us are adults and some of us are soon to be adults, and we should really start maturing now, because why would we really want more issues that are based on this community to keep going forever? In my perspective, there are downsides about these communities, but I'm also going to be kind of like your guardian, like your double-edged sword, eventually in the video anyway. So let's get started with some downsides. That way I can be more open to my thoughts. So the first downside that I can say about these communities is that most of us complain a lot. And this is one of the most biggest issues that paper show creators have foreseen.
I'm going to pause it right there, because I've noticed that too. There was a lot of complaining and pulled for the punishing from people. And again, criticism is fine, but the way I see it, criticism needs to be constructive and not destructive. If a comment is constructive, if you don't like something, but you're saying it respectfully and you're saying maybe how I can improve it, that's fantastic. But when we start saying things that are sort of out of line, or just out of nowhere, or just borderline rude, that's where we as paper show creators have a problem with it. Because you might say this later, but I'm going to say it now just in case, and I don't want to forget this. I do take TDM seriously in the fact that I love it and I want a season to be good. But I don't take it like super serious. Like, what people need to remember about our characters, he's probably going to say this in the video, how I see my characters, I know TDI fan sees his characters this way. Our characters are parodies of the original character. We're not trying to make the character 100%. And I know you could say, well, why aren't you doing that? And the answer is, because sometimes a character needs to be I don't know what the right word is. They need to be played with a little bit. For example, Neku in his game is a protagonist, but in TDN he's an antagonist. At the end of the day, not every character is going to be exactly how they act in their source material. And I think when people say to us paper show creators, this character's nothing like, or this character's nothing like, I think there are certain instances where you can absolutely be upset. For example, in TDN, with Movie Sonic being a simp, I can understand people being a little upset about that, for example, because that is nothing like Movie Sonic. But again, it's not meant to be 100% like Movie Sonic. It's meant to be a parody, a different version. And I think a lot of people don't acknowledge that, or don't really know that that's what our plan is. Our plan isn't to get a character 100% right, because if we were to get every character 100% right, I think the show would be boring. You would know who the antagonist is, you would know who the protagonists are. At the end of the day, it's our job as paper show creators to leave you guys entertained. So we need to put our own spin on these characters. And I think a lot of people get mad when we try and put spins on characters that they recommended. What you need to remember is, if you recommend me a character in TDN, they might not be exactly how they act in that series. That's just how it is. And I should acknowledge that now. If you're going to recommend me a character, don't expect 100% replica of your character, or of a character in my show. Because that's not what it's about. It's about these characters still being who they are. And I've stuffed that up with Movie Sonic, for example. Still having that basic traits. But there's more to them. There's more to them. Like Neku being a villain, or Light being a villain, or heaps of other villains. I can't think of who aren't actually villains in that series. Blue Toad in the games doesn't even sound like this. It's just what us paper show creators do. We're not trying to create a 100% replica. We are putting our own spin on these characters. So, hopefully going forward people can acknowledge that. If you don't like the way I or another person is representing a character, you are allowed to be upset about that. But there's no excuse for being toxic and trying to drag our shows down. Because if we were trying to go for 100% accuracy, we would, but we're not. We're not going to get every character 100% right. We're not trying to do that. If I was trying to do that, I probably wouldn't do TDN, because it would be absolutely no fun. So, just please remember that going into the future. We're not trying to get your characters 100% correct. But we want your characters to at the core, to stay the same, but there's going to be more to them. They might be super truthful and honest in the game. They might backstab. It's just how it goes. If a character does one thing that you don't like, that doesn't really give you an excuse to come and attack us, because we're not trying to get 100% accurate. Alright, I think I've said that plenty of times. Let's move on.
Like, I get how you guys want your favorite characters to win, but sometimes it can get out of hand by creating riots. paper show creators even feel like absolute garbage, even seeing negative feedbacks. Like, example, the season is ruined all because of one character got.
Yeah, season got ruined because one character got out. I remember, Pulled for the Punishing again. King Dice got out, and I had people come to me and say, why would you get rid of King Dice, the villain, in 16th place? What people don't understand, let me just swallow. What people don't understand is if I don't think a season's going to be good without a certain character, I'm not going to get rid of that certain character. And then people come in and say, you shouldn't have got rid of this character, how dare you, and I'm like, guys, have a little bit of faith in me here. If I thought the season was going to be utter trash without the character, I wouldn't have gotten rid of them. If they've still got a lot of relevance to the plot, and I think I've got more to do with them, I'm not going to get rid of the character. At the end of the day, every character I get rid of, I think to myself, it's their time to go. And sometimes you will get blindsides where you think someone is super relevant and they get blindsided. But that's all planned. It's all planned. And I will say TDN is improvised. So what do you mean by it's planned? What I mean by it's planned is before someone gets sent home, I sit down and I think, does this season still work without that story? And if it's yes, and I know a way, I will do it. At the end of the day, people are going to be upset about elimination. It's an elimination show. But we need to be respectful because us paper show creators, we are trying our best here. Alright, let's continue.
Like, guys, come on. There is a good thing that can happen from this instead of getting riled up if that character didn't make it far, or didn't win, or get any specific placement whatsoever. Like, it happened. They lost, just like in every paper show. It's literally what they all have in common, for fuck's sakes.
I will say, if you recommend me characters to be in my show and you get mad that they didn't win, don't recommend characters so they don't have to be in it, so they don't have to lose. If you're going to get mad over a character losing, don't recommend me characters. I will say that. That's a bit angry. I'm just saying don't do that, please.
But with TPI and TDM specifically, it's treated so damn different and more intense. I'm pretty sure it's because we all know that those two paper shows are ending soon, and we all know that it has such a big legacy. I completely understand that you want this.
I will say, I don't know if TDN is going to end soon. I've got plans up to 40. I might do more afterwards. I'm not sure though. So it might end soon. I'll probably make an update video soon. I'm starting my acting course on Monday. I've got Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays off. I've got Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays I'm down there. So I have to go to the city 4 times a week. So there will be less uploads, but TDN, it's going to go at a slower pace. But TDN's not going to stop is my plan. And if I can work a good way around it, then TDN won't end. If it gets too much, after 50 it will end. But I did say before it ended, and it didn't end, so not sure about that. But anyways, let's move on. But I do know TPI is ending soon, so that's sort of what he's talking about. Alright.
To do something as their own very own lineup, and the fact how those two paper shows have a very massive legacy, as I stated, so I can see why some of you guys are taking it super seriously. But that kind of crap honestly ruins the fun out of me, and maybe
I agree with that. I think people expect a lot out of TDN, my show, and TPI TDI fan show. Now, of course, we try to make the shows the best they can be. So when you come in with you're allowed to have expectations. If you're expecting a season to be fantastic, that's a great expectation. But don't expect every expectation that you have to be met. Because our two minds might not be at a similar place. Just because you think this is the best thing to do with your season, doesn't mean I think it is. For example, there was a bunch of you on my Discord who said, Tagami better win for Pulled for the Punching. He better win. And I was thinking to myself, I would love a Tagami win, but he's not gonna win. Because I don't think he fit the winner. And obviously I know who won the finale tomorrow. But you know Tagami didn't win. You got 4th place. It's people need to have faith in what I am planning. Just if your expectations aren't matched, you're allowed to be disappointed. But you need to be respectful about it. Because at the end of the day, again, like I said, if I don't think something's good, I'm not gonna do it. if I do something, you need to trust me that I think it's in the best interest for the season or for the show moving forward. That's something else. Alright, let's continue. We're not hardly into this video. Sheesh.
People, like, why focus on getting upset on over one character while you should be you should be more reflective on something more amusing to watching the rest of the seasons instead of relying on one major character.
Agreed. This is another case. People are so heavily focused on one character that they don't care about anyone else. They don't care about anyone else. And if they don't care about someone, they're going to start saying stuff like, this character's boring, they shouldn't be here. That's just how the community has been acting as of late. And I don't think that's true. Again, if I don't think a character should be there, they're not going to be there. They're not going to be there. So I hate when people come in and say, this is your only good character. She's the only one who's doing some shit. Everyone else is boring. That's not true. If it was true, the people who were boring wouldn't be there. Or I'd be getting rid of them next. If they're still there, they're there for a purpose. They're there for a reason. Another thing you need to remember about my paper show and other paper shows, we have main characters and side characters. If you're going in expecting everyone to be a main character, you're in a lot of danger because you're expecting way too much. At the end of the day, there are going to be characters who get focused on, and then there are going to be side characters who maybe don't get as much focus. But sometimes those side characters will become main characters, and those main characters will become side characters. Sounds like I'm rapping. But you get what I mean. So, if you recommended a character and you want your character to win, that's fantastic. At the end of the day, everyone can root for who they want. But when you start pulling the card of, oh, my character is the only interesting one, then, or this character is the only interesting one, or, oh, my character is so boring, I just think that's toxic. I think that's toxic. If you expressed it in a way that wasn't rude, maybe I would listen. But if you're just going to say, my character's doing nothing, but not telling me why they're doing nothing and not telling me how to improve on that, that's just complaining, and I'm not going to listen to that. Alright, let's move on.
It shouldn't even be like this in the official final season. You guys even criticize a bit too much. If it's constructive, though, it's great. But if it's destructive, it's not so great.
Yeah, David did come to me, and he's put this video together. He wanted some of my insights, so I said, say the constructive is great, destructive is great, even though I was going to say this regardless, but he said it there, and I agree. If it's constructive, it's fantastic. You can give me any feedback if it's constructive. But if it's not if it's destructive, do you expect me to listen? Because if you're not respecting me, how am I supposed to respect what you're saying to me? You know what I mean? Alright.
It even sounds like an actual hurtful feedback. I even sometimes see people repeat that same feedback. Even as of now, they respect your guys' opinion, but respect the fact that they're doing their best, because I have seen paper show creators being held at gunpoint with almost every decision they make. They would...
Facts. I'm leave about that. That's true. Sometimes it feels like you're being held at gunpoint to do something right. And we're not here to get your characters 100% right. And these people think we are. And I think that's a problem. Again, if you have a problem with how I might represent your character, then don't recommend your character. But if you're going to recommend your character, you need to accept that I might do something with them. I might do something with them. I'm going to try and keep your character at the surface the same. I found at that with movie Sonic and stuff. I know that. But they might be different in a few perspectives. So please try and remember that. No.
They would have felt the need to say no to one of you guys at least, but they think of what's best for everyone and wouldn't want a single person to feel upset, especially in public. Their brain sets isn't about always saying yes to everything, you know? Mm-hmm. They're just trying to have fun. It's not even about the subscribers. They did paper shows for something fun.
Agreed. I started TDN when I think I had 30 subscribers on my own channel. I continued TDN not because of the subscribers I was gaining from it, but because of the people who were telling me they enjoyed it. That's why I continued. But now we're at a stage where there are still many people saying that they enjoy it, and that's great. But there are a bunch of people who feel all they do is complain, and I'm like, why are you sticking around if you don't like it, or if you're just complaining? He'll probably say this later in the video. You could have 100 nice comments, but that one mean comment will stick with you. He will say that later in the video. I know it will, because I asked him to add that. He will say, I'll explain more of that when we get to that.
Something that would be entertaining for all of us, what even keeps them going is seeing everyone's reaction, seeing such positive support, and having something that keeps us feeling young for a while. It's our own little thing that we have going as a community that spreads.
I will say, TDM was also really good. And when COVID started, a lot of people were like, bro, this is helping me through COVID, and this is giving me something to watch. I'm so glad I could help with that. At the end of the day, the only reason I'm still doing TDN is because of the support and the people watching. So when there's a bunch of people now starting to either complain or hate or whatever it is there really a purpose for me to do it anymore? Because if I'm feeling held at gunpoint at sometimes, the people aren't enjoying it, and at times I'm not enjoying it, is there a point? The reason I came back to TDM after Winners at War early last year is because I knew people missed it and there was more I wanted to do with the show. Alright, let's continue.
That's what most paper show creators out there would love to see. It's where they find their motivation. It's where it takes place. And another thing, I'm pretty damn sure someone out there that's making their own paper show is making everything about them and their favorite characters only. I can tell they would like to make their own characters have traits that they would want to express, and honestly, let that person be and move on. You can always find someone better if you can't stand them, or maybe someone better than yourselves, because what they're doing is not harassing paper show creators for getting a character wrong. They can just make it better by simply doing it themselves. If you think someone is doing a terrible job at a character, then why don't you do it?
Great point. I think me and TD Ifan were telling about this, because me, David, and TD Ifan went on call for this. If you don't like the work that we're doing, and you're speaking in a ways that maybe you could do it better, why don't you give it a shot? Why not you put yourselves in our shoes, you film a paper show, and then we'll see how it goes. I think once you do that, you'll realise, shit, these guys are doing such a good job. And we need to, again, you can give us feedback, but it's got to be positive. It's got to be positive, because negative doesn't help us. That doesn't motivate us. That doesn't help us want to move on and continue with these paper shows. If all we got was destructive comments and rude comments, I would have no reason to film TDM anymore. I love TDM, but if no one's going to watch it, I'm going to get hated for making it, then I'm not going to make it. Let's continue.
Like, show us what you got and we'll take your words for it. Like, stop expecting so damn much in each episode. Yes, I would like to see the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, as I always known and love as a little kid. But a slight change isn't so bad either. Change can be good, and of course, it's not on point to Spider-Man's character, but that shouldn't mean it should be bugging me. Like, it's not easy to getting every character done in just one episode. Now, back to the harassing paper show creators. I literally have to make this video just so that I can speak up to most of them. I'm not sure if they would feel the same way, but let's just consider that all paper show creators are kind of feeling this way. We should honestly just be trusting them and giving them some decency, because they might feel anxious to cause drama or make one wrong move to make one.
That's how it feels. You're worried about making one mistake. You're worried about pissing one person off. That's what I mean by how you held at gunpoint. You're so worried about releasing an episode. You're so worried that one person's going to come to you and say, how dare you do this with my character? Or how dare you do this with this character? And I was like, I tried my best. You don't like it, I'm sorry. You don't like it, I'm sorry. But what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to sit here and take what you're listening. Like, if you're saying it respectfully, I will listen. If you're saying it disrespectfully, I'm not going to listen. That's, again, I keep on saying that, but it's so true. If you want to speak to me or criticize what I'm doing, you're allowed to criticize, but it needs to be constructive. Please, constructive. I've said that plenty of times. I want to say it probably more throughout this video. Let's continue.
You feel miserable because maybe one of you will look at their words the wrong way. This is why I kind of think they won't say no to you guys. Like, who the hell knows? They take things with extra precaution with you guys because they consider you guys' feelings, and they actually consider each and every one of your guys' bond with them. And you're telling me that you're repaying them back by influencing them to get what you want. Yeah, I suppose that everyone wants something, even myself. But that kind of wanting is full of greed, and it's just despicable even looking at it. Like, as if every bad behavior should be rewarded after every meltdown you do. Or even better,
Also, I don't know if I've said this yet. I don't know if the video is going to be up. There might be no point, because it's just this screen.
Advertisement that you do. You guys are so desperate that you have to cheat your own way out. But, as I stated, full of greed. Makes you look like shit. Let's not forget with a little bit dash of negativity on board with that. It's actually very concerning if negativity is more central in your brains than positivity.
Again, what I was talking about. Negativity stays in your noggin. That's why you could read 100 positive comments on your video. If you read one negative comment, your day is ruined. Because negativity impacts us more. When we hear positive comments, we feel motivated. It takes one negative comment and we feel shit. We feel shit because we're not pleasing everyone. Nothing like that. Maybe we shouldn't be pleasing everyone. Maybe we should only be pleasing the people who want to be pleased. Maybe we should only be pleasing the people who actually enjoy our shows, not find a reason to always complain about them. But those negative comments do make an impact, and they hurt, and they stay with you. Even when filming Port for the Punishing, some of the comments that I had received stuck with me. And it did hinder my enjoyment for the season somewhat. I still love Port for the Punishing. But yeah, that's just that. Let's continue.
There's certainly not anyone who's trying to cyberbully you to become that way. Pushing your frustrations at paper shows or CEs or any of that matter. But if that's currently accurate to you, I suggest asking for someone's help by reporting it. They might be someone important to you, but if talking it out won't solve the problem and they just keep doing it, like, reporting it to someone should help. But let me tell you, if I really was that kind of person to be all jerky in the community, then why should my behavior be all horrendous if I want to stay in the community that I can go back to? That's honestly a lesson that I go back to time to time. I know, like, my words can be a bit harsh, or they were just meant to be jokes and no one understood it, or like I said the wrong things. Those are just my errors, and I guess it's pretty much why I left the community, because I just don't want to be seen, angry or upset all the time, or be around toxic people too. But let me ask you guys the bigger question here. If suddenly your favorite paper show stops suddenly, what would you do? Would you still want to hang out with those creators, or would you still want to keep nagging and pursuing them to make more? There's going to be little...
I'll pause it there. I was meant to pause earlier. Good question. What would you do if all of us paper show creators just suddenly stopped making content? I think a lot of people would be upset. I think even a lot of the people who complain would be upset. It's the old saying, you don't know what you've got till it's gone. And I think people need to keep that in mind. You don't know what you've got till it's gone. And we're trying our best, you know what I mean? But if all we're going to get is hate, then TDN will be gone. You know what I mean? It's not everyone. It's not a lot. There's a bunch of you who are just always supportive, and I always appreciate that. But again, the negativity stays with you. And if I'm about to film an episode of TDN and I'm feeling negative, why would I want to film it? Or I might film it, but I'm not going to enjoy it. And then I feel like I'm being held at gunpoint filming to the end that I don't want to film. And I need to do all these characters right or I'm going to get slammed even harder. That's sort of how it feels. Anyways, let's move on.
Time to time, but everyone has their limit. Now that I cover up with what needed to be addressed, at least from my perspectives, I will now speak aside of who you guys truly are. Might be right about it at most, but let's just try to get into whatever your excuses, I guess.
Alright, I'll quickly move this closer since I do not have a screen. Alright, let's do this.
Now, partially, I kind of know where most of you have been. It's what I'm trying to say. You guys have trouble dealing with your attitude, but you also have trouble dealing with your own issues too. I can understand that most of you are on the autistic side, and at least maybe a couple of you even have anger issues. I know that your actions are unfair, but I want to at least make you guys understand that people are like this because of their own condition. And no matter what it might be, it's stable to them. But there are times where they need to tell us because we're just gonna make the wrong idea and just fight with the wrong people. We have to be more reasonable with ourselves. At least have that as our own state of mind. To make sure that we have to be responsible amongst the community and to take consideration of other errors and likability. This is why I have to come out and say that not all of us are bad people and shouldn't still be blamed. It's just at times autism awareness gets the better of us. And also, please don't always use your autism as an excuse for everything. We understand that you have been diagnosed with it growing up, but it'll just make you look downright awful. And also, one more thing, if people truly have anger issues and they make a terrible feedback, let them be. You should already be aware that they're not like themselves, so if they say the wrong mishap at least once or twice, just don't talk back at them, even if you take them seriously. If you wish for them to not speak publicly whenever they're like that, give them a checkup or a hollow, or just a suggestion. Though I have to suggest that if some of you can't handle yourselves, just take a break. Even if it's for a day wouldn't hurt you or anyone. We understand and try to make things better, and also focus on yourself more than others, because other people might be a bit of a bad influence to you by fueling your negativity. Surely we don't want that. Try to find a better surroundings. That way you are allowed to be yourself. That is why I leave you all with this message. If one of you were truly upset hearing my perspective point of view and think that I was calling one of you out, then that means you know that you are those people that are doing the wrong deeds.
Yep.
You're involved in it, and for that you are found guilty. But be aware, the content creators are easy forgiving people. I would never get others to look down on you or be infuriated with you.
I'm easily going to forgive everyone because we all make mistakes. That's the thing. We all make mistakes. We can all grow. I've made my fair share of mistakes even recently. I'm still stuffing up a lot in a lot of different things. We all make mistakes. But what we can do is just move on and try and just make things as normal as we can. Yeah, that's all I've got to say about that.
This video was just to warn you, not take paper shows the wrong way, and to reconcile with yourself and others around you. Those are the only lessons I would want to tone. And one more thing for the ones who feel like they've done a bad deed. The way to make amends is to either stop what you were doing before, learn how to move forward, to forget, and if you really want to, I guess you can apologize to the content creators or viewers if you like to. That is all. Hate me, I'm fine with that.
Don't hate David, whatever you do. I think that's everything. No, there's only like 10 seconds left. Don't hate David.
Just know that I was trying to speak out for people. Share this video to anyone who needs to hear this. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so please, absolutely no hate on David. If you want to hate on someone, you can hate on me. Because this was a group decision to sort of make this video. And David was the one who wanted to speak out for us. And he did something that not a lot of people would do. So, big shout out to David. Thank you for that. And TDI Fan has a pinned comment. And of course, he's involved in this too. So I'm going to read his comment. And I'm going to sort of see if I can break it down any further. Or like agree with it or something. Alright, he said, here's my take on this situation. First of all, I love all of the edits in this video. I can tell that you took some time to make this video. Kudos to you. I agree, the video was edited nicely. At the end of the day, I probably won't put it here. There's probably no point because it's just sound. There's a few, little editing things. So I will leave the video down below if you want to watch it, and if you want to watch it without it being paused. I'll leave it down below. He also said, now, the one big issue I have within the community is that since the past 3 years or so, there's a lot more negativity than positivity. I know that doesn't necessarily sound like a good reason, but hear me out. We as paper show creators are taking the time out of our day to get entertainment out for those that enjoy these types of videos. That's right, these videos are made for the people who enjoy them, not for the people who don't like them. And while we do have fun with it, what's really dragging me down, this is from TDI Fan's perspective of course, what's really dragging me down is constantly seeing others complain and complain rather than looking at what makes each season worthwhile. Very, very true. Very true. People look at the negatives of our paper shows over the positives. You did this wrong and this wrong, or you did my character wrong in this way, but I'm not going to give you credit for what you did do right, because that doesn't matter. You still did my character wrong because you did this. That is called being toxic. If that sounds rude, I'm sorry, but that is being toxic. If you are looking for only negatives, that is toxic. Anyways, let's continue. Of course, I take all of your feedback and consideration at heart. Likewise, I do too. But having it show, practically all the time is making the entire community more toxic. If you have complaints, that's fine. But if you're constantly complaining and constantly negative, that's not constructive at all. You're finding a reason to complain. You're looking for a reason to complain. You don't care about the positives that we're doing because you're only going to look at the negatives. You're only going to look at the negatives. And I have a massive problem with people like that. Put my character in TDN, or put this character in TDN. Oh, but you did this one thing wrong, so now my whole character's ruined. Or the whole character's ruined. I'm like, no, but to each their own. Which is something that we do not want. Exactly, we do not want a toxic community. If you go back to, I don't know, maybe go back to Best of the Best or a season before then and read the comments. There was all positivity back then, man. It was all positivity back then. The community's changed a lot since then. If there's something you do not like about what we decide to do with our show, in the end, it is our show. So we have the choice of doing what we want with our shows. If you have something negative to say, then be my guest. But also, having vice versa can help immensely. Exactly. If you're going to be negative, drag the show down, or complain about something, at least give us something that we did right. All these people are, you did this wrong, and this wrong, and this wrong, but nothing positive. Nothing positive. And they say it's constructive criticism. Anyways. It's those types of comments that really count in the end. And the comments that we like to see. We like to see the positive comments. Amen. Another thing that really irritates me is how others... Sorry about that. Video stopped, but we'll continue. Okay. Another thing that irritates me is how others... is how others see how we portray some characters. I get it. The chances of us doing a character right aren't that high. Well, I think what he means by the chances of us doing a character 100% right, absolutely no flaws with that character, no changes to that character's, that's almost 0%. You're not going to get a character like that. I'm sorry, if you're expecting a character to be 100% the character, I don't think that's going to happen. I think rare times it could happen. Rare times it could. But gosh dang it, that's not what we're trying to do with these paper shots. We're not trying to get a character 100% of the source material. That would make it boring. We're trying to create a spin-off, a parody of this character that we like and that we can use. If a character isn't like that character at all, then you have a reason to complain. But if you're looking, if there's 10 positives and 2 negatives, but you're only going to point out those 2 negatives, then we have a problem. And if you are going to only point out negatives, but fail to even come up with a positive, that's also a massive problem. The chances of us doing your character 100% right aren't that high. But if we don't do the character right, there's no need to go and nag about it. If you really want a character to be done right, then the best decision is to do it yourself. Thank you, that's so true. You know the character more than anyone. If you want it done right exactly, then might as well do it on your own. Maybe we also want to portray a character differently, and that's okay. After all, this is a parody show of total drama to begin with, so nothing needs to be exact. This is a parody of a show that we love so much, an elimination show. At the end of the day, in a game about lying and cheating and voting people off, you can't expect your character to be 100% them. That's crazy talk. And even if we get them done right, but they go out early because of that, we get yelled at or complain, how dare you get my character out early? Why are you recommending me characters if you don't want them to go out early? I'll just not put them in at all so they don't get out early. Another thing is not to be repetitive when it comes to bringing up you don't like about a show. This happened in Port for the Punishing. Some things were just brought up over and over and over again, and it got really annoying, and it was just pure toxic. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, then it's fine. I'm not going to pop into it. When it comes to a show, it's hard enough for us to always be reminded of the things we did wrong. Yes, it can be a way of leading to improvement, but always bringing it up ain't gonna make it easier. Exactly. It's something that would like to leave in the past. It's something we'd like to leave in the past. When you keep on bringing up something I did 25 episodes ago, you expect me to listen? Like, I'm sorry, I get it. I made a mistake. You don't like it, that's more than fine. But tell me once. Tell me once. Don't be a dick about it when you bring it up your 25th time. Not to be a dick, but you did this wrong. I don't care after the 25th. I don't care. I've got it in my noggin. Yeah, you're only finding more reasons to complain when you decide to bring something up for the 25th time for no reason. You're literally looking for a reason to complain. And you're looking for a reason to be negative. And you're looking for a reason to hate. And if you're hating on my show, why are you expecting me to love your characters in my show? Huh? Not sure. If we really want to relive it, then we'd check it back ourselves. It just doesn't make things any better to bring these things than to look at what's become. Thank you. So true. In the end, one thing that's pretty obvious is how downhill the community has come from here. I remember the times when people were excited and hyped for what's to come in every episode of our paper shows. That's what really gave me the motivation to keep moving forward. Same. I I came back because people missed it and people really wanted it back. And I felt that positivity when TDN returned. That's what kept me motivated to moving forward. Now, that still shows, but not as much. And mainly it's just jokes here and jokes there, which is fine. But it makes me feel like you aren't really paying attention to what's actually happening in the episode. Where was I? So I guess what I'm trying to say is that criticism is of course accepted. But it's that, if that's all you've got to say, then maybe don't say it at all. Just be equally balanced. In the end, we're just making these shows for fun, for the fun of it. And for you to be entertained, even if you aren't half the time. Yes, you can be negative, but make sure to add some positivity in there. You may think it might not help, but you have no idea. You have no idea how much a negative comment, how far it goes. How much it impacts you. Especially when you've heard that negative comment for the 25th time and they are still being negative. If you are negative, we're not going to listen to your criticism. It needs to be positive. It needs to be constructive criticism. That's all he said, by the way. Thanks, TD. I very much agree with all of that. So now it's time for my perspective on everything that was not said. Alright, this is a long-ass video too. Number one, I will say I still enjoy filming TDN a lot. But I think Pulled for the Punishing, TDN really fell down for me. It fell. Not because the season was bad, but because people were so negative throughout the entire season. They were finding any reason they could to complain about the show. And it drags you, I've said it a million times, it drags you down. And these people who were complaining, I encourage you to make your own paper show. If you think you could do Pulled for the Punishing better than me, print out the exact same characters and you do it yourself. Because I get sick, I'm tired of people complaining, negativity. That's not why I filmed TDN. I've got things that maybe I should be doing instead of TDN a lot of the time. To be frank, I think I've been using TDN as a bit of an escape from my real life as of recently. I don't want to get all super negative here, but I'll sort of get into it. One of my family members on the older side is ill at the moment, and we're not sure how long he's got left. So that's really got me down in the dumps the last month or so. I haven't told anyone about it except for Xander. No one else knows about it until now. I'm not gonna say who in my family it is. And I've never lost anyone super close to me, anyone in my family. So this is it's a tough time for me. And I've been using TDN as an escape from everything that's happening on the outside. But now the negativity's going into my positivity, and I don't know, I feel like I've been using TDN as an escape, and I shouldn't have been using it as an escape. There are other things I should be using as an escape, and I've made so many mistakes over the last month and a half. It's absolutely crazy. And I feel really bad about those mistakes I've made. But I don't think TDN is one of those mistakes I've made. But when I won't say TDN is. I've only been filming it for an escape. It's helped me with an escape. But that's not the reason why I film. I also film it because I enjoy filming it, of course. So when that negativity starts getting into what I want to be positive, it's it's tough. It's tough, and I haven't told anyone about this, of course. I was thinking about maybe not saying it in this video, but I thought I might as well just say it. So that's pretty much. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've hurt some people I'm close to, and I can only move forward. I can only go on and better myself, and I can also only do that with TDN. So please stop with the negativity. It doesn't help me. It doesn't make me feel good. You don't like my paper show, then don't watch my paper show. Because what you're going to be doing eventually is your negativity is going to make me stop filming TDM for good. And all those people who did nothing wrong, who were positive all the time, they're going to suffer because of your actions. So please, I encourage you, please, you can have a problem with my paper show, with another paper show, but be respectful about it. Because we are respectful enough to put your characters in this show and to try and, to have them in our paper shows. And you do nothing but complain when they're in. So I'm like, why should I keep on adding your characters? You're like, please add more of my characters. But I'm like, no, because all you're going to do is complain. So that's everything. This went for, I think, 51 minutes. 51 minutes. Thank you again to David Hero. Seriously, what an absolute legend making this video. Link down below to the video and subscribe to him there. And also thanks to TDI Fan, because he also, had say in this as well. And thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for the season finale of TDN, Pulled for the Punishing, and I will see you later. Take care.